Welcome, Crypt Keepers, to a chillingly entertaining episode of the Darkened Crypt. Today, we'll be unearthing some bone-chilling discoveries that are sure to make your head spin, literally. Our tale begins in the sun-baked deserts of Peru, where a team of intrepid archaeologists uncovered a graveyard of elongated skulls. These eerie craniums have ignited a firestorm of speculation. Were they the remains of a lost civilization, or perhaps visitors from beyond the stars? Now you might be thinking, but wait, didn't my parents always tell me not to play with my head? Well, my dear Crypt Creepers, it seems these ancient Peruvians had a different idea. They practiced a bizarre ritual called skull elongation, where infants' skulls were bound and reshaped, giving them an elongated appearance. But hold on to your brains, folks, because the plot thickens. Some researchers believe these elongated skulls could be evidence of extraterrestrial visitation. After all, what better way to blend in with the locals than to adopt their head-turning fashion sense? Thank you for sharing, liking, and subscribing right now. I am Mr. Cornwell, your host here again. Welcome to the Darkened Crypt. Today we are going to take a fascinating trip under the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, may just add more evidence to this intriguing theory. In late 2021, archaeologists were digging below the iconic cathedral when they stumbled upon not one, but two, in separate sarcophagi. Inside was a wealthy cleric from centuries ago, but the other contained something out of this world. The skeleton belonged to a man the experts nicknamed the Knight. Based on his bones, he was an elite horseman who lived around the 1300s. However, it was the very shape of his skull that had researchers doing a double take. You see, his cranium was elongated in a very distinct oblong way. Giving him an elongation that is noticeable, this knight was held in high regard and deeply respected, almost as one would treat a dignitary. From a faraway land like maybe even Agartha, a mythical city on hollow earth. Consider the possibility that the serpent represents not just a cunning tempter, but a being of ancient origins, a custodian of knowledge and secrets far beyond human comprehension. Could it be that the serpent in the Garden of Eden narrative is a metaphorical representation of beings similar to those depicted in the Peruvian artifacts? Who are actually visitors from within our world? Now you might be thinking, so what? People's skulls come in all shapes and sizes. But this elongated skull shape is the kicker, because it matches those found in ancient cultures across the globe, from the desert ruins of Peru to the Mediterranean islands and even remote Pacific isles. Elongated skulls like the Knight's have been uncovered in burial sites of elite rulers and possible priests. In Peru, the ancient Paracas people actually shaped children's skulls into elongated forms by binding them as infants. A practice some believe was to make them appear more elite or godlike, maybe even more alien-like. Then we have cases like the mysterious giant, elongated skulls found on islands like Sardinia and Malta. The discoveries were so mind-blowing, laws were passed to keep people from digging up any more. At the megalithic temple complex of Hal Saflieni Hippogeum on Malta, elongated skulls of hugely volumetric craniums were buried, hinting at the possibility of an ancient serpent-worshipping priestly lineage tying together ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. Speaking of Egypt, what do you make of the curious elongated crowns, hats, and headdresses depicted on the pharaohs' heads in all those iconic statues and hieroglyphs? Even the colossal Ramses II statue features the unmistakable elongated cranium aesthetic. Coincidence? Crossing over to remote Polynesian islands like Nuku'hifi, we find more bizarre stone carvings portraying large-eyed figures with, you guessed it, elongated skulls. Were these representations of powerful ancestors, ancient gods, or perhaps ancient alien beings? So when you connect all these archaeological dots of elongated skulls across the ancient world, it does make you wonder, were these all just quirky, stylistic human customs? Or did these consistently elongated skull traits signify something more out of this world, something extraterrestrial? Maybe the knight interred at Notre Dame belonged to a distinguished family, with strong connections to highly developed extraterrestrial benefactors who led prehistoric societies.
In one, we'll be looking at the blood type differences between Native Americans and the Paracas. And also, in another part, I'll go into a more detailed description of the differences between Native American DNA, as in haplogroups, and those found in the Paracas.
Perhaps even possibly from Ephatha, a city inside the hollow earth. And speaking of extraterrestrials, let's turn our attention to a truly out-of-this-world discovery. Sebastian, the alleged alien humanoid reptile. Rumor has it that this scaly stranger has been spotted lurking in the shadows, leaving a trail of elongated heads in his wake. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is this some kind of double entendre? Well, my dear crypt dwellers, that's part of the fun. After all, what's a good ghost story without a few saucy innuendos to keep things interesting? But fear not, my friends, for the Darkened Crypt is a safe space for all things spooky and strange. We'll explore these mysteries with a healthy dose of comedy because, let's face it, laughter is the best way to deal with the unknown. So, sit back, relax, and prepare to have your mind and maybe even your skull expanded. The Darkened Crypt is about to take you on a wild ride through the realms of the paranormal, the extraterrestrial, and the downright hilarious. And if you're left craving more tales of elongated heads and reptilian encounters, fear not. The next installment of our spine-tingling series is just a click away. Click the link now to watch what's next. Stay spooky, my friends, and remember, when it comes to the Darkened Crypt, the only thing longer than our stories are the skulls we unearth.